If dragon taming was a school class, what grade would you get? Well, that is precisely what I've been challenged to find out by Natural Causes and Chaotic Gaming from The Nest.
Die. I believe in my Smith & Wesson. There are skeleton dragons now. This was not in class.
I have 100 days to tame as many different dragon species as possible, plus, for my final exams, need to face powerful bosses to see if I pass or fail as a dragon tamer. So say it with me now, let the show begin! On the first marvelous morning of this challenge, I spawned onto the luscious southern coast of Forglar, where after scratching my wrist, cruised on to get my bearings. Out in the ocean, I could immediately spot a tech-like structure. I wonder what that's for. The rest of my morning was spent gathering berries for some early sustenance, chopping down some trees for some wooden thatch, and I gotta admit, I like that I am not immediately being eaten upon spawning. I say that as I see a dragon out in the water. This amphibious creature might decide to have me for lunch if I get too close. While I was out and about, I made myself some cloth clothes, some stone tools, plus a spear, which was firmly lodged into this dodo's skull in order to get some hide to make the last two cloth gear pieces, but these threads are definitely not purty enough, so I slapped on my mini-me chibi and dyed my clothes a more apt array of colors. And before I knew it, it was already nighttime and the sky was weeping, so I whipped up a thatch hut to protect myself from the elements. In the storm of day 2, I noticed that I was getting pretty famished, so I made a campfire where I baked the dead dodo meat that I got in the day prior before I chowed down until my stomach was no longer growling. I then explored the surrounding area and searched for more beasts and little critters that I could slay for hide. I wonder if I'll see a dragon out and about, and sure enough, after I walked around for a little bit, I saw one flapping above the palm trees. It looks quite ominous. I would not dare to inspect its level without a spyglass, so I must keep my distance for now. But there are dragons that I cannot outrun, as this one colossal beast appeared and chased me all the way into a corner, but just scooped me up and then flew me off straight into Game of Thrones Kingsroad, the official Game of Thrones action-adventure RPG and today's sponsor. Whether you're on PC or mobile, Kingsroad lets you explore Westeros like never before with crossplay and cross-progression, so you can continue your adventures anytime, any place. Set during Season 4 with a brand new story, you play as the heir to House Tyre, a small northern house fighting for its place in a world of betrayal, power, and iconic characters like Jon Snow, Jaime Lannister. They're all here, and I have a bone to pick with a few of them, having watched the entire show myself. Explore this immersive open world to visit places like King's Landing and the Wall, not just for gathering to craft gear, but also to face political power struggles, and of course, to slay your enemies, as you battle through an immersive ARPG combat system that tests your skill with dodges, parries, weapons, and abilities. You can play as a trained knight, strong sellsword, or nimble assassin, each with their own unique playstyle. Plus, there's a multiplayer mode called Altar of Memories where you can slay legendary creatures like ice spiders, iron-beak griffins, and more together with your friends. So click the link down below to play Game of Thrones Kingsroad for free and start forging your legend today. And man, I'm sure glad that big boy over here booked me a two-way flight. The longer I explored, the more dangers I seemed to encounter too. So, after getting just a smidge of hide, I tucked my tail and ran back home. This is where I crafted the complete hide set too. Not like it's going to protect me from dragon's breath, but here's to hoping. Just as I was done painting my new gear, I walked outside to see that the dragon from earlier was inching closer and closer to my thatch box. So I collected my meat and skedaddled. Once I made some distance and arrived back at spawn point, I gathered some wood and spent the night building up a wooden shack. By the next morning, the much more spacious house was complete, and it's going to be much more relaxing as a hideout and will serve as my respawn point with a bed that I set out to go make. While I was doing that, I managed to adopt 2 baby Lystros, and I want to keep them. However, there may not be a home to return them to very soon, as I managed to spot not only 1, but 2 Rexes near my house. I was sure this was a good spot and easy spawn zones, but I guess I'm mistaken. These babies are incredibly slow too, so by the time they actually got home, the sun was already setting. And turns out my math was wrong. There are 3 Rexes nearby, so we definitely can't stay here for very long, even though my new babies were getting comfy in their new home.
Oh, that scared me. Ah, stupid stinking goose.
On day 4, I decided to give these 2 their names. The first one, obviously, was named Buddy. I really need to make some Buddy merch. And the second, E-Dub. I know, I am hilarious, but on a serious note, I'm going to try and keep these 2 alive for as long as possible in this run. With the sun now out, I decided it was time to search for some more hide for a plan that I had in mind. I even got to kill a trilobite for some early chitin and oil during this, and while rummaging through the forest, I found a baby dodo that I claimed and named Chumkum. Once I returned home, I used the hide to craft my getaway vehicle, a raft, and was about to set sail for a better spot to settle down, but luckily, I peeked into the water first and spotted a dreaded Zephactinus. No bueno, but it's either that or the Rexes in my backyard. So due to these dangers, I locked up all my babies in the shack and sailed off by myself. I hope that they're still alive when I come back with some cryopods. Trust me, this is safer for them, I swear. Following the coastline, I saw some magical crystals in the sky and what seemed to be floating islands dead ahead. So through pouring rain, I sailed onwards. The rain kept pouring into day 5, but I quickly realized that that was the least of my worries.
Oh, no shot. I thought I heard something. It's an alpha too. Oh, it's an alpha. Holy moly. Well, I'm sure glad I didn't bring the orphanage along on this field trip.
So I washed up to a dock on the shore, thankfully in one piece, and had to continue trekking on foot. So during my involuntary jog, I saw that the islands that I spotted were that from Crystal Isles, so that is definitely where I'll be able to make a spyglass.
Oh, hello? An ancient draconic ancestor has entered the realm. Hello? And why did it chuckle at me? Yeah, I forgot to remember what the coordinates were, but I'm pretty sure I'll notice if I see it.
The problems kept stacking up as dangers made it too risky to keep going straight, so I carefully swam across the water to a safer looking island, and in doing this saw a giant skull nearby, quite fitting for the welcome party that I've received entering this area. At least this new spot does seem peaceful for now, and had more than enough crystal to go around, so the awesome spyglass was mine. I also made some dino balls to store my dinos in. And you know, as much as I'm struggling, this map is stunning. Crystal wasn't the only thing that this island had to offer though, as I discovered in a central pond a large deposit of metal just waiting for me to take a crack at it. So after spotting that, I built a workshop under a giant rock and began to smelt metal and produce charcoal. At dawn of day 6, I was working tirelessly to mine the ore, smelt it down, and turn the first few ingots into metal tools. I then decided to slay a carbonemys for some keratin and adopted its child. I'm gonna have to start charging for these services. Towards the later end of the day, after some resource grinding, I transformed the workshop into a makeshift home. And I know it's not pretty, but in all fairness, when have I ever built anything pretty in my 100 days? Logging back on day 7, I noticed that my baby turtle had died. Rest in pieces, my child, but no matter. I grinded until I was able to craft a pestle and mortar and began to whip up narcotics with it. In the afternoon, I crafted a crossbow, which would be shortly after, with some trank arrows that I made, be used to subdue and tame a max level triceratops in hopes to also claim its baby. During our little dance, it seemed to be running straight for my home, so it must be furious. But to my surprise, I had just enough arrows to land the KO and start the tame. Once the baby showed up, I was also surprised that I was getting a male and female, which opens a whole lot of exciting breeding opportunities. Not only are they decent harvesters, but I can already see that the dragon that we avoided is a sand dragon, and it needs eternal sand draconic essence to tame, and for that, we need eggs. So these dinos are our ticket to dragons, baby. While I waited for the tame to succeed, I also noted that the sand essence needs a lot of stone, so I harvested as much as I could in the meantime.
Oh. Hello? What are you? Hydro Dragon? Wait a minute. Uh-oh. This is not good. This is not good. I repeat, this is a worst case scenario. Look, it's only level 40, but that thing still has 70,000 health. There's no way I can kill that thing. Oh, no. Not with my Triceratops so close by. Shoot! Despawn! Heathen! Now, I'm not sure if the Hydro Dragon is aggressive or not, but it spared my Triceratops, which are now fully tamed. So, come here!
Luckily, I was fast enough to tame and retain my 2 trikes and then scurried back to my base. I think I'll just hide in here until that thing leaves. Due to these unforeseen circumstances, I used the stone that I collected to build a wider perimeter. At least I wasn't wasting it. The next day, I had to defend my home from more threats than I cared to admit. All these carnivores, man, they need to get off my freaking lawn. The process of extending my perimeter wall took far longer than I anticipated, which just highlights the fact that I'm gonna need a Doedicarus or an Anky real soon, or at least dragons that can fill that role. At least now, after a long while, I have enough to keep my Triceratops safe. I then placed down a lectern to learn more about the mod, and read that I'm going to need to make a draconic cauldron to make essences, which means I'm going to need to make the draconic shrine first to make it, which also needs a lot of stone, so I hopped to gather that all day long. For day 10, I placed a depot terminal to help with my breeding endeavors, and at about 10 a.m., I assembled the draconic shrine and placed it inside my base. I realized that I'm going to need 200 ingots to craft the cauldron, so I spent the rest of the day underwater gathering metal for smelting, and I would have continued all night if it weren't for these meddling raptors that decided to corner me into my own home. I am so glad that I made that perimeter though. Day 11 had me exploring just a little bit further from my base, where under a moonlit sky, I found some surface metal deposits. This was a sight for sore eyes and would definitely increase my momentum by quite a bit. While waiting for all the metal to be smelted into ingots, I decided to go and reobtain all of the stone that I used up, which I needed for the draconic essence. During this, the baby trike had fully matured, so ignoring the circumstances, they were set to breed and produce eggs for me, and their firstborn son was spared, whom I dubbed Bread to become my harvester. Thankfully, I had all the materials to craft the cauldron in the evening, but here's where I realized that the shrine, from where I am to make it, needs electricity to run. All that work, and what did it get me? So on day 12, I put a pin on that cauldron task and focused on taming a pteranodon. I gotta go save my Chirin after all. After running around for a while, I finally found a max level specimen and made quick work to down it and knock it out. And as to speed up the taming process, I slayed a mama sabertooth and subsequently its kitten for some prime meat. That will definitely speed up the taming process by a lot. On day 13, the pteranodon had finally become my loyal companion, so I saddled it up and immediately took to the sky as I was off to save my orphans from certain doom. I was happy to report that both Buddy and Edub were all good. I can't say the same for Chimkum though, but he was our least favorite anyways. On our way back, I got curious and checked out that tech island that we spotted at the start and was shocked to see that it has lamps. This is clutch, as harvesting them gives small amounts of electronics. I left this island a happy man as I had acquired over 25 of these, enough to make a generator for electricity for the shrine. I zipped home and put my lystros into the terminal for safekeeping for now and noticed that the fabricator that I need to make the generator needs oil, so getting that is at the top of my to-do list. The journey to find this had me exploring parts of the map on day 14 that I had not seen yet, that being the whole southern coast, which gave me time to take it all in and admire a stunning horizon. In my exploration, I discovered that the water dragons that I had spotted are called tidal dragons. Noted. I then passed through more strange rock formations until eventually I came across something terrifying. Black wings peeked out from the foliage, that of an elder wyvern. It is registered as untamable, aka will definitely f me up.
Oh yeah, I'm not sticking around for that.
Hell no. There was another peculiar island off in the distance, and as I got closer, a storm emerged out of thin air, and with that, an ominous glow engulfed these lands. The entire place has these pods scattered about that I would love to build in, but the weather here is a little bit too gloomy for my taste. Another interesting fact is that there are a bunch of eggs on the floor here, which gives you organic polymer, so don't mind if I do. Later, behind a waterfall further out, I found a cave lined in spiderweb, which I hesitantly inspected, and it's kind of like a jungle. Cool, but it's not oil, so I moved on. At sunset, I saw a flying beast that seemed to be straight out of Avatar. There was a whole flock of them gathering around too, even a max level amongst them. I will most definitely be back to tame one of these with the correct taming foods. Still on the topic of oil, I even turned to trilobite hunting at the dawn of day 15, which also resulted in nothing. This is turning out to be much harder than anticipated, and as much as I don't like the thought of it, I will probably have no other choice but to tame an ichthyi and explore the deep seas. I even explored until I reached a freaking desert in the north. How is there no oil anywhere? In this desert though, I spotted a wild, ominous beast This is probably the defender that keeps spawning and maniacally laughing at me, and he has good reason to, as he's rocking over 100,000 life points. He would probably Thanos snap me out of existence, so I'll deal with you later. Although I didn't find any oil all day, I was at least able to collect some resources from supply crates. It's something. Thankfully, on day 16, I did read up a little bit on the map and found out that it isn't quite finished, and there's no point of searching across the ocean for oil, as there's only a few spots on the map to get this, so I'm gonna head on over to a lake to investigate this spot for myself that supposedly has this. On our way though, I did find something absolutely majestic and simultaneously terrifying.
Oh, level 200 Elder Wyvern? How high could they go?
Also on this outing, I did end up killing a baby Phiomia for its prime meat, and with that, KO plus tame a max level male Pteranodon. Now we're gonna have little flying dinos in our base in no time. After the tame was complete, I placed it in a dino ball and immediately started to panic as I had been slowly freezing to death. I quickly made a cape to keep me warm, but it wasn't enough, so I had to rush around, get some items, and place a campfire so I could at least camp out the night without succumbing to hypothermia. I packed up at dawn of day 17 and kept moving to the fabled oil pond, and this one right here's the spot, complete with a waterfall and everything. So, it's time to get to work, and there are some threats in these waters that I do need to consider. The occasional piranha would like to chomp on my booty cheeks, and I had to very carefully swim through the water so as to not agitate any of the larger threats. I quickly started hacking away at one of these rocks, and I would have loved to get more, but these dang baryonyxes are seemingly guarding the place. So, I had to leave undetected with the little bit that I had gotten. I hope this will be enough for now. So at sunset, I started the long trek back home. On the 18th day of this challenge, I was finally back. I got my Pteranodon couple breeding, and it quickly popped out an egg. I immediately set it to incubate, and once the baby was hatched from the egg, I named it Mint. So it took a while, but I got it imprinted as fast as possible, and there was some grinding involved in the day, but eventually at night I made the fabricator, and after placing it and with it some gasoline inside, I started it all up, and at midnight crafted the much needed generator. So the next morning, the generator was placed and then hooked up to the Draconic Shrine, giving it power. Now that makes way for me to craft the Draconic Cauldron, and this pot of goop will serve me well, as it's got all sorts of things to craft inside, like essences, healing potions, and other little craftables. But before I get my hands dirty with this, I tamed an Oviraptor with the trike eggs that had been building up. It took its sweet time to tame up, but during this, Mint had fully matured and was saddled for her maiden voyage. Once the Oviraptor was tamed, I picked it up and placed it into the terminal, so now all the eggs should be auto-picked up by the system. At nightfall, I popped out bread for the first time and harvested narcoberries for a good while. Our front lawn has never looked this good. So, as you can imagine, day 20 started with a lot of narcotic crafting and a lot of wall building, and I mean a whole lot of it, as I once again needed to extend my fort. After wrapping up the base expansion in the early morning of day 21, I decluttered for a while and then decided it was time to make the sand essence. Unfortunately, once again, I am short on stone. I used it up on the expansion, so it's back to the grind for me. And after a whole extra day of stone grinding, I was finally, at long last, able to craft the essence and was now focused on finding a powerful sand dragon. This stuff should most definitely not be wasted on a weakling. So, on day 22, I was soaring through the sky on the lookout for one of these elusive sand dragons. And after searching high and low, I did come across a massive cave under the Magic Crystal Mountain next to our home. And besides the vermin that need to be cleared out, this is the perfect piece of real estate for a future base of ours. Moving on, I must say the supply drop gains were really starting to roll in, since we see them all over the map and we're starting to make some real easy money. I was finding good armor pieces and saddles inside. And even during this excitement, I was still taken aback by how cool this map is with its random settlements all over the place. There's so much to investigate all over. And although it's very pretty, I guess logic and ARK just shouldn't always be put together in the same sentence, as there were ice wyverns in the desert. After flying around for a while, I decided that I would search for the sand dragon that I'd found in the earlier part of the video right outside our home. This is also when I received a visit from a very special someone.
Hi, baby. Yeah? Hello? Ja, was ist da? Vogel?
Vogel.
Otro Vogel, ja?
Banana.
Uh-huh.
Banana.
Banana.
After flying around in the air for a while, at long last, the dragon landed and was passively tamed with the click of a button. And we called it Cheeks, like Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob. No other reason. It's definitely fast as a flyer and has a dive similar to a griffin, a sand breath, and also some slashes. I'm pretty sure it's one of the weakest dragons, but I'm sure it'll be a worthy new addition to our arsenal. For the morning of day 23, I headed out with Cheeks in search of new opportunities. My travels led me to a mushroom biome where they come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. They also have this hanging bridge area that I adore, and atop a mountain nearby was a decent metal spot overlooking a mutated swamp that seemed to have overgrown an entire canyon. I inspected its inhabitants and came across an inferno wyvern. I'm noticing that the stronger dragons require a KO to tame, so let's hope I find an ascended longneck or crossbow really soon. Here I also found another high-level female sand dragon, so that's my cue to go and make another sand essence. At this point, you all know what that means. I gathered stone throughout the entire night. So, at about mid-morning of day 24, I finally whipped up the sand juice, and after a long travel back, I tamed the partner for Cheeks. And after completing that tame and having to fly all the way back home, I noticed that I no longer have to grind that much for stone, as I never need to make sand essences ever again. We now have infinite sand dragons. By the next morning, I had both of them situated and ready to breed infinitely, and all the eggs should be collected automatically. So after fencing off a dragon's pen to protect them from any predators, I set out with Mint in search of a good tranking weapon in one of these handy-dandy supply crates. I was finding all sorts of fantastic goodies like an ascended flak helmet, which I immediately slapped on, and so it was my greed from this that led me to a new area. One completely scorched and burnt from lava. This hellhole has me on my toes as there are wyverns everywhere. Lots of wyverns.
Oh! No. Gotta go. Go, Mint! Fly! Fly like the wind! Oh, I'm out of stamp. Oh, this may be it for Mint. Gotta land. Please. Please don't find me. Please don't find me. We live. We live. We live.
The next morning, I was fully aware that Mint and I survived only through sheer luck, and considering that the sand dragon isn't really that fast if it can't dive bomb, I need to get something faster. This is when I returned to my wooden shack from the start, as I remembered seeing jellyfish in the water there. I lured them to the edge of the water and harvested them for their biotoxin. This will be useful when crafting the taming food for that max level Chikara that I had seen previously. Besides the biotoxin that I just got, I realized that I also need citronels and black pearls. Perfect! At least to brighten my spirits, I could hatch 3 sand dragons at the end of the day and get a perfect baby, which I dubbed Flakes, as it kinda looks like it has dandruff. On day 27, while Flakes was growing up to be our main tame for now, I decided to make a greenhouse here. I might as well get the plants growing sooner rather than later. And thankfully, this was going to be an effortless task as I'm right next to the water, and as mentioned before, crystal is a non-issue here. The only problem was going to be getting enough cementing paste. I spent the morning of day 28 setting up the irrigation system for the greenhouse and got the crops irrigated, and at about noon, flew out to search for some beaver dams as they hold cementing paste. During this search, I found a max level Bloodstorm dragon that needs something called Sanguine Essence to tame. Seems to be a mighty dragon, so for the moment, I'll put a pin on that. And honestly, finding a beaver dam wasn't all that difficult. Right next to the Bloodstorm dragon, there was one, and it had an overwhelming amount of cementing paste inside. I was relieved and returned with these goodies back home to further build my greenhouse. There was quite a bit of grinding involved, but you get the point. The greenhouse was completed on day 29, and one of each veggie type was planted. I also had to get quite a bit of extra metal going throughout the day, as I wanted to make more flak armor, as I'd been running around with a breeze between my knees for a while. I also painted it in the evening to match my aesthetic, and it's looking pretty good. The next morning, I made a draconic saddle, which I subsequently slapped onto Flakes, and then set out to pick up, once again, the search for a better tranking weapon. Right next to home, I can't believe I'm saying this, I spotted something much greater, an unprotected Elder Wyvern egg. So erring on the side of caution, I went home to read up on them before I did anything rash. As we've seen, the adults are untamable, but the wyvern can be acquired by stealing an egg and raising it, but to raise the baby, you need elder wyvern milk, which you only get by killing the adults. Well, there's no point leaving it unprotected. I mean, we've been adopting dinos left and right, so I went to go pick it up and actually spotted a second one on the way. So I ended up adopting both of these eggs. You know, don't judge me. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. When life gives you dragon eggs, you steal them without question. Continuing our adventure, I ended up spotting a third one, and this is incredibly bizarre, and it made me very happy, but it means nothing if I can't take down an adult for that elder wyvern milk. And you know what? There end up being so many of these eggs just lying around the map that I decided that I'll just mention them once I actually put them to use, or else this is gonna take forever. Once I stopped off at another supply drop, I was happy to collect some quality scuba gear that will be useful in my inevitable underwater adventures soon. On day 31, after checking up on everything, I started hatching a large number of sand dragon eggs to raise up passively. I then made an ichthyosaur saddle, so together with Flakes, I looked for a good one to tame, while also keeping an eye out for any good supply drops, but immediately my plans were thwarted by an oncoming heat wave, which had me rushing north to cool off. Passing past a redwoods forest with tree houses inside, I could now see the snow biome off in the distance. Feels much better now that I'm not being cooked alive over here, and since I'm already here in the snow, I might as well check out the place. And yes, the biomes in this map are massive to say the least, but now I'm on the opposite side of the temperature spectrum, slowly becoming a flying popsicle. So on my way out of this area, I did pick up some good loot from the supply drops here, but I have minimal time to waste as it's getting incredibly chilly. So in the later hours of the day, I redirected my looting prowess to other regions of the map. The next morning, I seem to have been blessed by the RNG gods though, as there were a total of 7 yellow drops coming down in close proximity, so the goblin in me could not resist. The highlights of all these loot drops were some standard weapons, some more scuba gear, and a lot of good fur pieces, which means the snow won't bother me anymore. After dropping off all the stuff that was cluttering my inventory back home, by nightfall I refocused all my efforts onto finding that Ichty to tame. And that's precisely what I did the next day, from dawn to dusk. It was a day of bad drops and even worse dolphins. I continued my search into day 34, but I was finding everything except what I wanted.
Whoa. Hello. Ancient Draconic Ancestor, 100,000 health. Tameable passive. Doesn't show what food it wants though. Oh, I need the lectern to read what it wants. Okay, I am not gonna get close to it, but I'll remember that one.
I was stumped. I had checked far and wide without a single good Ichty in sight, but eventually my persistence paid off as at about noon I spotted 2 level 140 specimens in the water. So I put on my scuba gear and set out with some mutton that I'd gotten from some supply drops and gave it a whirl, and thanked the Lord that there was nothing aggressive in close vicinity. That's at least how it seemed like for a good minute, until, well, I totally absolutely jinxed it.
Oh no. No. Please. Please eat. Come on. I don't have enough firepower to kill him. Please eat. Come on. No! No! Come to me, my children. Focus on me. Come on. Turn around. You're ready to eat. Come on, turn around. I hate Ichthys with every fiber of my being. I don't know why I do it to myself. To tame one every adventure. Come to Papa. We gotta go. There's jellies. Oh boy. The male is also ready to eat. Oh, my mutton is about to spoil. And that's my last one. Come on. Go. Come on. Yes. Boop. We gotta go. Bye! Whoo, mama! My persistence has paid off. Got a breeding pair, so let's go make them have babies.
Once I returned back to base, I set these 2 dolphins to breed, and while they're doing that, I went to do some maintenance. Amongst the items on the never-ending chore list was going to be a meat run, during which I killed an alpha raptor and got some weird bones that seemed to be for a trophy of some sort. I then continued using bread to collect thatch and wood, as I was constantly low on those resources. On the morning of day 35, I popped out Buddy and Edub as they deserved to have some fresh air. And this is when I noticed that I was high enough level to make a rejuvenating essence. I'm glad that I made that farm as it needs all veggie types. As I went to harvest something from the garden, I noticed something was up. There were no more veggies, and the greenhouse effect was at 0. That's not good. So I spent the morning moving my farm from under this colossal mountain to another location, because that's kind of how ARK works. If something's above it, apparently it never gets any sun. So after disassembling, transporting, and reassembling, I had scooted it on over a little bit to the right. And that, in fact, did fix the greenhouse effect issue. The only problem that I have now is that I have to wait all over again for my crops to grow. The essence is going to also need a metric ton of fiber, thatch, and wood, so I set out in search of a Therizino to tame to get those resources. Bread just simply isn't cutting it anymore. Atop a mountain on day 36, I found a level 95, which will work for now, so I began to pepper it with tranquilizer arrows from the back of Flakes. So after a long, rodeo-style chase, it finally dropped to the floor. I stuffed it to the brim with narco berries so it stays unconscious for however long this takes, hopefully, as I do not intend to stick around for the interim. Let's just hope it stays alive during this process. As I got home, there was a dolphin ready with good stamina, health, and weight, which will now be our underwater explorer, and for such a shy creature, I just decided to call it Lily. I then harvested my first batch of produce and rushed back to the Theory to give it that for a faster taming time. It was day 37 when I took a dive into the abyss, hoping to find some black pearls. In my descent, I said hello to Free Willy, whom we met so long ago. He's still rocking it, hey, how you doing? And just continued to search high and low.
I think these, yeah. Is these them? Oh,
Although they're weird looking, these are definitely what I'm looking for. And to motivate me to stay on my toes, I had a whole squad of cheerleaders on my booty cheeks. Every shark in the vicinity was coming to watch. After I collected this entire patch, I had a total of 24 black pearls. So after that, I moved on, and let me tell you that with Lily, we are absolutely cruising through the water. This thing can do laps. It is reassuring to have a water tame with high speed and high stamina, but whenever I'm in ARK's waters, my heart is always pounding. And things were surprisingly going smoothly, until I saw that the torpor on my Theory was dropping quickly, so with no other option, Lily floored it to get back home so I could get onto Flakes. I didn't take him along for safety reasons, so as soon as I got back home, I jumped onto Flakes and we hurried on over to save the tame from failing. After that crisis was averted, I returned back to searching for black pearls. This continued into the next day, although the actual gathering part was few and far in between, so in the afternoon first, after collecting another batch, I went to claim and retrieve my Therizinosaur. All this swapping between tasks has me really putting on some kilometers onto Flakes, let me tell you. So now that I can finally focus on just one task, I went to look at the final spot marked on the map's resource list in the ocean for black pearls. Slowly but surely, I eliminated any possible threat that was near me and just had at it because this was the mother lode. My collecting continued into day 39, and the Tusos were coming after me from time to time, but there was so much loot that my goblin urges just couldn't be contained. The black pearls were even respawning too, so I could farm these infinitely. I cautiously entered an underwater ruin right here, and just as I spotted an artifact, I saw the tentacles of an alpha Tuso protruding through the walls. I've come this far without dying. If I'm going to do something that stupid, I may as well do that once I have some backup. So with an extensive amount collected, I returned back to base a happy man.
where's my base? Or is this not my base? Oh, I had a heart attack. Oh, I thought my base was wiped for some reason. Oh, my heart just sank. It's right over there. I'm just an idiot.
Once I got home after my long seafaring adventure, with a little bit extra effort, I was grinding towards the minced fish and fruits, plus the aether spray, which I need to tame the Drakara. The things that I need most were to get fish, and made a bunch of bug repellent. Sadly, I didn't have enough citronels just yet, so I used the remainder of the day to just grind out some metal ingots. Day 40 started by grinding some fiber, wood, and thatch with our new Theory. It's fantastic at farming wood and fiber, not so much at the thatch part. That's where bread comes in. So, because of this, I just decided to call the Theory Loaf, since they go well together. So now we have more than enough of these resources to make the rejuvenating potion, except for the veggies, of course. So now that's 2 craftable items that I need to make that need veggies. So while waiting, I read up on the dragons and noticed that one will require tons of metal and obsidian. Because of this, and considering smelting takes a while, I set out to find an Anky. Might as well get metal production going. While out though, I stumbled upon some loot drops and collected an entire industrial grinder. This is huge, but I'll explain why in a minute. To maximize my excitement, I continued my looting momentum through the entire day of day 41, and I did get an Ascended Fur chest piece and a lot of other goodies, but eventually once I had my fill, I got back home, and here is why the industrial grinder is clutch. First of all, we just saved a ton of ingots simply by acquiring it, and second of all the loot that we got and don't need can be salvaged and turned into resources that we can reuse. Just look at these thousands of hides and ingots and miscellaneous items seemingly conjured out of near nothingness. It's free! Seeing as everything is waiting for the crops on my farm to grow, I spent the entirety of day 42 hunting for supply drops with Flakes to stock up on resources that my industrial grinder can chew through and hopefully sooner than later, get a tranking weapon. I'm getting a little bit nervous here. The next morning, at long last, I made the final bug repellent, and with that, the Aether Spray. I could also craft the minced fish and fruit, so I was excited. I can go and tame a Drakara. So with these items, I made my way on over to the place where I saw the level 150 previously, and after investigating the scene for a while, I could conclude that that specimen that I'd seen was no longer here, so I had to settle for a normal Drakara at level 145. This food that I'm holding is very expensive and spoils fast, so I gotta get it onto somebody quick. It did start poking me as I tried to lure it away from the others, and I did notice it has a bleed effect, which is kind of scary, and it is faster than Flakes if you don't consider Flakes' dive.
Okay. Here we go. Pop you. Use the spray. So it's active. And the special food goes here. Now, if my HUD is correct, this should be very straightforward. Unless the mod is bugged. You never know. It's so pretty. It's like, feed. Oh, it needs a whole lot of them. Oh, no. I didn't read the amount. I thought it would be like an essence. Oh, shoot. Ooh, this is bad. Oh, that's very, very, very bad. Okay, fish. Fish. Let's try fish. Yeah, what did it want? It wanted raw meat. Ah, wait. Raw meat is the next best. I have that. Okay, hold on. I was panicking a little bit too soon. Park Flakes into your Pokeball. Okay. Now, I am a little bit nervous because there's a whole lot of Elder Dragon eggs lying around. But we're just going to ignore that. Come on. Come on. I really want to tame it. It looks so pretty. Come on. I don't have forever. Oh, then again, it's not... It doesn't say that it's ready to eat yet, so it's fine. You do you. Ride. Use to feed. What? Oh, don't tell me it got mad. Oh, it got mad. Oh, it's bleeding me. Oh, this is not good. Okay. You know what? I have something for your ass to get me to safety. Lily! Now I can just keep peeking. You can't catch me underwater. Oh, it is after me, though. Oh, ow, shoot! Okay, this is bad. This is really bad. All my plans have gone south. I think I need to recalculate.
On day 44, I stuck around to see if any way I could tame that Drakara, but for some reason, it wouldn't land, which did infuriate me, but this is ARK we're playing, so I guess expect the unexpected. After a little more back and forth, I decided that this was a bust, and that I would have to return to the drawing board. At least I did get to loot an Elder Wyvern egg. I guess it's a consolation prize, though there's one positive thing that can come from this. My first order of business, though, once I returned back home, would be to expand the farm so that I could remake that food much faster. And that's precisely what I did going into day 45. The expansion will be filled with 4 plots, 2 for rock carrots and 2 for citronelles. So while that was growing, I went on a pelt collection run. During my travels, I spotted a magical blue tree with a magical blue ring around it. There are also spiky tentacles all around the place, and it is littered with glowing floating islands, so this is kind of bizarre. The creatures are also referred to as magic. So I'm honestly a bit creeped out by this area, but We'll come back to this to figure out what this place has in store. As I entered the snow biome, a saber-tooth killed an ovis right in front of me, so at least now I know where they can spawn, and I got some mutton and pelt from it. I was rushing home, but much to my sadness, the Drakara was already losing taming effectiveness, so I returned back home and just hit the hay for the night, depressed, hoping to sleep off my frustration. And voila! As I woke up on day 46, I was optimistic that everything would turn around eventually, and was happy as I realized that I could finally craft a rejuvenating essence in the cauldron. The farm expansion and taming loaf is definitely paying off. I scouted for a rejuvenating dragon, but the one near our base was no longer around, so I went in search for another, and eventually stumbled upon a level 140 specimen on a nearby island, and I was keen on capturing it. So I spent a considerable amount of my time gathering stone and crafted a gate trap. So once everything was set up, all I had to do was lure it right in.
Okay, here goes to nothing. Now you're gonna get mad at me. Oh, no. Oh, wait. Don't tell me you're just fleeing. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel bad now. Hey, come back. Yeah, he's just a little guy. Or maybe he is bad, actually. I can't tell. Yeah, he's just a little guy. Just frolicking around. Doesn't mean I would appreciate you holding still. But this will do. No, come back. Oh, this just had to go sideways as well, right? Like, it just couldn't have gone the way I wanted it to. And all its torpor is gone. Ooh, that makes me mad. You know what? Go. Let me get my trap back.
Once I picked up my trap, I simply pursued the dragon on top of Flakes. During my flight, I decided to go back home and repair my crossbow, as if that fails me during the tame, I just might have an aneurysm. I decided that I would search for supply drops while I waited for it to come back to solid ground, and that is when I spotted a level 20, which means there's much less torpor for me to dish out. I tried to gate spam it, but it just simply phased through it. But you know, Mama raised a very stubborn man, so a second attempt proved to be more successful, and that landed me the KO, and with that, the tame. Everyone, meet Heavenly. The reason that I didn't care about its level is because it's not a fighting dragon, and the name is because, well, its poop is absolutely divine. It's used to make really good healing potions. I then ended up crafting 2 draconic essences in case we found a dragon that needs it for its tame, and flew off to grind a ton of obsidian because the grinder hasn't been giving us any, and we need like 1,500 for this one fire essence that we need. Logically, an obsidian grind led me to the lava biome, and here's where I uncovered an enormous wyvern trench. I'm surprised that I haven't seen it until now, but I was excited and I had to have a peek around, hoping to snatch up some eggs. It was Flakes' time to shine, as there are in fact eggs to be stolen and parents to be lured away from their nests. So after looting a green shotgun at dawn of day 48, I descended into the cavern to do what I do best, and that was stealing like a little loot goblin.
Feel like here's our first point of entry. What's it gonna be? A fire egg. Very low level, but that's fine. I don't really care about levels right now. I care about collecting. So let's snatch you up. It's another one to our roster. Now, is everybody mad at me? Yeah, it seems like there's a mama mad at me. Fair enough. Just get out of here. Well, yeah, she's still coming. That's all right. And we lost her. All right, cool. So we got a fire. I'm pretty sure then poison and lightning is going to be in here. Ice, doubt it. There's another one right there. You know what? Do action, think, regret later. It's fire as well, level 25. I don't care. Not going to risk the biscuit for the same egg. What's it gonna be? Lightning. Okay. I want that one. Oh, that thing didn't even get mad at me? Okay, well, once I grab it, everything will. Time to dive. Grab. Oh, I'm encumbered. And go. Go, 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 go. Yep, here it comes. Dive for speed. There's lightning. Dive to dodge, dive to dodge. Oh, that was so close on me. Lightning can take you off so fast. Use your glide, Flakes. Use what your mama gave you. All right, we're good. We're good. Still not great, But again, we're collecting. All right. In we go. There, I see it. Steal egg, ask questions later. Boom. Egg stolen, and we are out of here. See y'all later. Oh, they're all coming. Oh, Whoo! That was close. A little bit too close. Just a smidge too close. But we did it. We got 3 different eggs for our collection.
To finish off the day, I simply put all of the eggs into storage for safekeeping. On day 49, I was simply out and about collecting obsidian by hand, but I figured that is going to be too slow, considering I want to get 1,500, so I figured it best to go and tame an RG and Anky combo. That'll definitely make things quicker. Out in the desert with my trap that I take along, I landed the KO at a level 145 RG and stuffed it with mutton. At sunset, a sandstorm did kick in, so I figured it best to just watch over it until it was fully tamed. And so, at dawn of day 50, halfway through our adventure, the RG was mine. And so I continued to search for an Anky through this blazing sandstorm, and eventually, after a long day of flying about, it had subsided, and here's where I spotted a level 95 Anky, which will fit perfectly into the mold. So I knocked it out and fed it some veggies. In the early hours of day 51, I could tell taming this Anky is going to take forever, so I decided to fence it off with my gates and went to search for some supply drops yet again for a better tranking weapon. I have to go and use my time wisely, as I still need to form an army of combat dragons, which I do not yet possess any of, and we are already halfway through the video with the driest luck on the planet.
Yes! Yes! Ascended crossbow, baby! Let's go! Oh, this is exactly what I wanted. Okay, let's not be rash here. I've screwed up too many things this run by being rash, even though I haven't died yet. But bada bim bada bum bada bum bam bam. Yes! Oh, the search is over. I'm free. I'm free.
I'm so happy that things are finally looking up, and the excitement doesn't even stop there as I reached level 75, which unlocks the Sea Breeze Essence to craft, which is needed to tame tidal dragons. That was the main reason we were going to get black pearls in the first place.
Why do you always take off all your clothes, bro?
Because, dude, no, there's a reason. There's a reason, okay? It's not like I'm a nudist or something. In the desert, it gets hot. And the thing is, flak armor has heat resistance negative.
Oh,
So you overheat in flak gear when you're in desert.
all right. Gotcha.
Remember, you're watching a master at work.
My balls was hot.
My bowels was hot. I understand.
Towards the end of the day, the Anky was finally ready, so this was one jolly good day. So, it was time to rev up my engines on day 52, as I saddled my RG and Anky, and thus promptly, the brilliant Obsidian Crusade began, as I spent the entire day going from region to region, accumulating a ton of this stuff. The following day, I continued the Blackrock pounding, as no obsidian node was spared from my Anky's wrath, and this took us all the way to the utmost southwest corner of the map, where you'll find the most of this stuff, so I hope that helps someone out. This place had more than enough to fulfill my tall order, and thanks to my RG, I was able to bring it all home in one go, albeit very slowly. At about noon of day 54, I was finally back home and deposited everything into the cauldron, and thanks to all the ingots from our grinder, was able to make the Ember Vein Essence. This will let us tame our very own Flameforge Dragon, which I set out to do for the rest of the day. I dove into the snow biome of day 55, as supposedly they can spawn here as well. Once I found a specimen, I inspected it, and although it's a chunky fellow, it is indeed quite fast, so the gate spamming commenced, as it didn't seem aggressive. At least that's what I thought until it started hitting me with some odd ray beam, and in fact it does damage stone structures, so that's not good, and although it may not look like it, it's definitely stuck, so I just started blasting and hoped for the best. The dragon then proceeded to give Flakes and me a disco show that didn't seem to hurt us, so I just kept shooting it until it dropped to the floor, and considering the oriental style temple nearby, I named this dragon Kenji, who was first tamed up at night, and seeing that he did damage 2 of my gates, I gotta go make 2 new ones. And so on that note, on day 56, with a saddle on this bad boy, I was able to get wood, stone, and ore much faster than ever before. And the benefits that it also includes is that it smelts all the ingots straight in its inventory and cooks food. This dude just replaced every utility tame that we've got thus far. So within a very short amount of time, I was able to accumulate 2,000 metal and stone. So as you can imagine, getting the gates back was no problem at all, and I then began crafting many stone foundations as it's time to clear out the cave for our future base. So I flew on over to said cave, cleared out the vermin, and foundation spammed the place to prevent future spawns. This was quite the labor-intensive process which lasted into the next day. At about noon is when I returned back home and made a stone behemoth gate, which did help seal the entrance to the cave. I'm just going to need a couple more to finish the job. I did note the next morning that Kenji dropped coal that is used to power a draconic generator, and then I just simply continued to harvest stone throughout the morning, looted my first rejuvenating crystal poop, and then harvested thatch with bread, made tons of narcotics right after, and then was able to make 2 more behemoth gates. These gates were placed on day 59, and they may not be straight, but I think that just makes them look kinda cool. After a little bit more clearing out of the cave and some more foundation placing, this dragon lair was ready to be moved into. So I whipped up a bunk bed, a draconic generator, an egg incubator, and a draconic fabricator for our new base. I then collected some more stone for a little stone house, as I want to build one inside the cave. This house was slapped together on day 60, just in case a more nasty spawn here and there. Inside this little house, I also placed a draconic generator, which covers the entire cave beautifully. This power source is, as mentioned, thanks to Kenji's coal, and it allows me to use the draconic fabricator and incubator. This is starting to look like Sauron's bedroom, but you know what? I'm not complaining, I dig the ominous vibes. To inaugurate our new property, I decided it's the perfect time to hatch the 3 vanilla wyvern eggs here. They will be our new defenders. And so, with that out of the way, I began to transport most of my valuable stuff to this location. By the morning of day 61, my new humble abode was finished and our wyverns were fully raised. I named them Zip, Zap, and Zop, and because they were all matured, I made a draconic convert crossbow and arrows at the altar. I shot Zip with one of these, hoping it would become a draconic variant, but to no such luck. And so I just decided to try it on a wild specimen instead. And this also proved to be unsuccessful, so I'm guessing it's just bugged. Leaving the trench, I looted a green assault rifle from a supply drop, and then shortly after, spotted a level 105 Elder Wyvern. It's one of the weakest that I've seen thus far, so I decided that I'm going to slay it. So, at the early dawn of day 62, I went back to my base and rummaged through all of my belongings in search of anything handy in combat so that I could take my best gear into battle, and then returned to the low-level beast for a skyborn battle.
Alright, Flakes. I don't know how this is gonna go, but I believe in you. Believe in the me that believes in you. And without further ado, let us commence. Okay, opened her up, and now it's time to tango. That did absolutely nothing to its health pool. Alright, so I got a burn on it, and it got a burn on me, which is a little bit of a problem. Thing is, I have a saddle, so I know I can tank more. I just realized I probably should have prepared a healing potion for this. Come on, Flakes! Beat him up! There we go. You know what? I'm just gonna whack you for a bit. Hold still. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I can see his health bar going down. Ours as well, but here's the thing. If I just stay on his tail and whack his booty, we should be good. Because my melee is actually not too bad. It's 195 per hit. My stamina is going to be the main issue, though, so I'm going to have to dip out, regain stam, and then return. There you go. Singe him. And... uh-oh. Okay, well, he's leaving. Get stam. Flakes, you little gecko. Get your stamina. I see him coming. I think he's stuck. All right, here we go. All right, he did get the burn on me. Ugh, I need to fight him higher up. You know, he keeps making me, kind of like park in the air. I really should have made med potions for this. There we go. Let's just tank it out. Tank it out, Flakes. 2 can play that game, Big Mama. See? The thing is, it gets so close to me that Flakes is like, oh, I'm on ground. Nice. Got some good burn, but I'm half health and it's half health, which means it has done more damage to me than I have done to it. Breathe. There we go. Just keep the burn on. And let's dip. Oh, crap. This is not good. It is on me. because it is faster than Flakes. Okay, I gotta watch out. I'm at like a quarter health. This is pretty bad. I found demon. I came prepared with the blicky. My only advantage is that I can dive, and it's not diving. That is literally the only advantage I got right now. Hey, I saw his number change from the blicky. Maybe this is how we gotta do it. Man and dragon, united as one. Dive! Dive! I'm almost out of stamina. I gotta go. Eat my child. Heal. Alright. Time for a second entry. I might as well get a burn off it with a dive while it's not aggroed, and then continue to fill it with lead. I just wish it would be higher so I could dive bomb away. But I guess we can't have all the luxuries that we want now, can we? What if I do this? That's not bad. Woo! That was close. A little bit too close. Yep. That was a little bit too close. All we're doing is buying time for Flakes to heal up a little bit. Die, 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 die. I believe in my Smith & Wesson. Let's go. It's actually working. This improvised MacGyver plan is working. So glad I got all those supply drops that were useless. Dodge and weave, Flakes. Dodge and weave. Alright, since it's not aggro, let's regain stamina. Let's not risk the biscuit. We're doing so good. And by so good, I just mean slow and steady. Hey, ya go, buddy. Rest up a little bit, my gecko. Oh, nice. We're hiding. Alright. Round 3. Shotgun to the back of the skull and dip. It's already nighttime. This has been a very, very extensive fight. Alright, that's all my shotgun ammo. Not a lot of that connected, but it's fine. He's under 15,000 health. And Flakes is almost back at half health. We're turning the tide. Honestly, if I were this dude, I would be so mad right about now. Just a freaking mosquito and a human with a pistol. Like, what I'm doing is just straight up insulting. If it works, it works, though. When there's a will, there's a way. And when there is no way, there's cheese. We're on freaking day 63 now, and the thing still isn't dead. But I have faith. Fight me! Oh, I risked it a little bit too much. I got a little bit too snobby. But it's fine. We can tank it because we healed a bit. He's under 10k. With the moon as our witness, we shall slay this behemoth. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, yeah, just a couple of breaths of fire does so much to poor Flakes. I kind of want Flakes to deal the finishing blow, but I don't know if I want to risk it. Oh. Oh, that was Flakes. Looks like you do actually want to get the final hit. Under 5,000. The sun is rising. Okay. Whew. Under 2k. Under 2k. Let's go. Let's go, Flakes. Beat him up. Boom, baby. Down it goes. Feeding the Rex while I'm at it. But we did it. I got Elder Wyvern Milk straight to my inventory. We got 1 for all that effort, but I'm hoping that that's enough to raise on my own. It spoils actually really quick. We gotta go home. Yeah, we gotta go.
And so, to add insult to injury, I stole the Wyvern's egg and rushed back home with it. I then sorted the best level one out of the bunch and went with the one with the highest health and melee. The others just simply weren't this good. I put the egg into the incubator and quickly made a milk fridge, which preserves the Wyvern milk that I've collected. Now all that I need to do is wait for the egg to hatch. And so while we wait, towards sunset I got a few more resources from the old base. This does take quite a few trips, so I just took with me as much as I possibly could carry. On day 64, I went to gather some stone for a particular craft that I had in mind. My plan is to make a draconic collector to ensure that no rejuvenating crystals go unclaimed. After that was completed and placed, I returned to my old base where I gathered up some more stuff to transport to my new place. It took several trips to bring all the countless resources on over, but thankfully, it all got done at about midnight. I had a surprise idea the next morning. I was bringing out every sand dragon that I'd hatched until now and dumped all of their levels into melee because I need to get more milk for our egg, which is already ready to hatch. My mentality for this is what we lack in strength, we make up for in numbers.
All right, my babies. It's time to go. I can't see anything. Get off me. Attack this dude. Yes. Attack that dude. Go, everybody, go. All of yous. And I mean all of yous. Come on. Everything's going south real quiet, real fast. Oh, never mind. They killed him. All right. Attack the big one. No, not the wyvern corn. I wanted to tame that later. So many dragons here all of a sudden. Where did they all come from? No, my babies. Ah, crap. They're all sharing just a singular neuron. Get rid of the lightning ones. Yes? No? We got a couple of them biting his booty cheeks. Where's his health? Okay, we're almost halfway. There we go. Now they're diving on him. I don't know if ours... Yeah, ours are doing the breath attack. I can see the sand. Oh, they're piling on him like ticks. Oh, they're the sand devils. They are the literal sandstorm. He's even stuck. He can't move. Oh, yeah, look at that. Boom, baby. Team Sand Devils wins. You'll love to see it. Now, everybody land. I need that milk. Hello. I got normal Wyvern Milk and the Elder Wyvern Milk in my inventory straight away. Nice. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. You can go home now.
And after one more very time-consuming Elder Wyvern kill on day 66, I confidently returned back home and hatched our first tamed Elder Wyvern and had it drink all the milk. He's gonna become big and strong, yes he is. So while it's raising up, I took the time towards the end of the day to finally brew up our first Sea Breeze Essence. Then, on day 67, I set out to tame a tidal dragon with this. These guys don't seem to be aggressive, as they even seem to let themselves get nibbled on by megalodons. There's no thought between those eyes right there. I sure that I'm glad that I went out today though, as a Giga gave me a free Elder Wyvern Milk. Thank you very much, good sir. But back on topic, I built a trap on top of this plateau and got the dragon's attention, trying to lead it inside. It came nicely and slowly towards my direction as it was dehydrated, so yeah, it moves slowly, but its attacks are quite damaging. I almost lost my life trying to get it inside. As derpy as this thing is, it could probably two-shot me. I was going at it the old-fashioned way after that, kind of just trying to wrangle it rodeo style, but it just decided to waltz right in.
Oh, did I do that by sheer accident? Oh, luck is on my side today. Yeah, it left out the other end. All right, down it goes. Karcha, focus on me. Let me lure you away from my baby. Come on. Where's my new friend? Hello? Where did it go? Are you in the bushes? Yeah, it's right here. Karcha is away. And pop. Haha! You're mine. That's another one to our checklist, baby.
Considering it looks quite amphibious, as I had mentioned, I decided to call it Froggy. It has a dive like the sand dragon and can seamlessly go underwater, where it's super fast and also gives you a bubble around your head so you don't need scuba gear to breathe. Plus, while hydrated, it's still considerably fast in the air. Let's just not talk about its land capabilities. I rushed home on day 68 to deposit the milk that I'd just gotten the day before, and then summoned my fully grown Elder Wyvern. It takes over the whole middle section of the cave. It's massive. It's currently very weak though, so we'll wait for it to heal up before riding it. But now, it was finally time to put all of those draconic essences that I made long ago to good use. See, in the desert, draconic variants spawn frequently, so I spotted a crystal wyvern, which is passive, so after a little bit of trial and error, managed to gate spam it successfully. And so, at the twilight of day 69, it was finally knocked out and set to tame. And just like that, presto, Tropicana was tamed. But let's not get too sidetracked, we gotta keep this train on rolling. So a little bit further out, I did end up finding a draconic blood crystal wyvern just as the storm kicked in. So I trailed it through the canyon for what seemed like forever, hoping eventually it would land.
You're mocking me. You're 100% mocking me.
And this dude seemed to have learned a thing or two from the Drakara that was at the lake, so I just started shooting him from the back of Flakes. And thankfully, Flakes has grown so much that he could just tank the whole engagement.
Boom. Sit, puppy.
Day 70 had me involuntarily having to kill a horde of microraptors, in response to which I ended up just stealing one of their babies until I could finally have some peace and quiet to tame the wyvern that I had downed. And this one, I ended up just naming V, as it reminds me of the fun that I had playing V Rising, because it's kind of a vampire. I proceeded to do a little bit of maintenance at the farm, and then I also collected tons of berries and fiber together with loaf and used all of those to make multiple more draconic essences, because I still got a ways to go. So yes, my taming spree led me straight back to the desert on day 71, as I was looking for my third and final crystal wyvern, that being the Ember specimen, like this one right here. I decided to just knock it out and tame it like I did the last one, up close and personal, in broad daylight. This one though, was much more aggressive and almost killed Flakes on multiple occasions. It was a very dicey battle, so much so that I needed to disengage as it damaged me more than the Elder Wyvern had. This was a dance in the sky like no other, neither submitting to the other, and just by a hair, Flakes came out on top. Now that's a good boy!
Oh, no! No! Flakes! No! Flakes died to fall damage? Oh, I can't move, I'm stuck. You have to be joking. There's no way. Come on, just die. Die. This is not a combat theory. Get off of me. Give me some time to mourn. You know what? That does tick me off quite a bit. I ain't gonna lie. That, was not supposed to be how it went. It's all your fault. Oh, man. That was the dumbest thing. Of all the ways that Flakes could have died, it was by my hands. I leaped to eat the Morella tops. And wanting to save it, I ended up slaying it. I feel so dumb. I feel so dumb. You know what? You were his final dance. Because of that, your name will be Corn. You were the corn to his flakes. Let's go home.
Back at base on day 72, I popped out all of my tames thus far, and this is how things stand. We have a Sand, Rejuvenating, Tidal, and Flameforge Dragon, every Crystal Wyvern variant, every Vanilla Wyvern as well, excluding Ice because it's not on the map, and of course, our Elder Wyvern. What a mighty fleet this is becoming. And as I was inspecting these dragons, I thought of the perfect name for our leader Wyvern. He shall be known as Cabal. After that rigorous inspection, I had to head on out on another sand dragon to pick up the gates that I had forgotten in the desert. Now the only challenge will be to find them in this frickin' sandstorm. After a little bit of headless flying around, I spotted them and quickly disassembled my trap. I then proceeded to unleash all of my pent-up anger of losing Flakes onto this poor draconic ice wyvern and subsequently tamed it once it dropped on the floor. This desert has been very, very lucrative, I do gotta say. I then moved on back home, as by the Crystal Mountain, there was this draconic poison wyvern that's been twirling around with some RGs, so I invited it to a dance at sunset and made it go night-night. It was quickly convinced to be my friend, and presto, that's another one ticked off of our list. 2 in a day. Not bad, we're ramping up. Day 73 had me restocking up on arrows, and then headed out to tame a draconic fire wyvern, which was turning out to be the most complicated to tame of the entire bunch. They just simply melt my health so incredibly fast, and the battle that I was having extended all the way to my farm. But once again, with just a sliver of health on my sand dragon, it plopped to the ground, and thus the draconic fire wyvern was officially mine. Beaten and bruised, scurried on back to the lair, adding another dragon there to our circle. And you know, here's where I whipped up some healing potions that I really could have used back when Flakes was still alive, but hey, we learned from our mistakes. And yeah, to end off the day, I just crafted a normal fridge to preserve all of my perishables. As for day 74, well, I just harvested wood, fiber, and thatch all the way from dawn till dusk, all in order to make 2 additional rejuvenating essences, which were to be used on day 75 as I began to search for 2 rejuvenating dragons to tame. And as I'm searching, you might be wondering why I would want to tame 2 of these dragons, as I had mentioned that these aren't combat dragons, and that is true. However, they are medics. They're fire heals allies, so having a couple of these in the mix of the bossing squad will only do me good and no harm. And it didn't take me all that long to find and also knock out a max level female, and also right after that, to my luck, a max level male that was flying close to my base. So by evening, they were both set to breed and then left to their own devices. The golden stats we are after is 38 health and 40 melee. Not bad, but again, they're supposed to keep the others alive. And on the topic of breeding, I used this time to select some better sand dragons to improve our fleet. The next morning, I noticed that out of all of my wyverns, V had some pretty good melee, and since he's a male, I set out to find a female to make some quality babies for our army. After flying through a horrible sandstorm, I spotted a decent level female. I didn't really care too much about the stats because again, I'm after the ones from V, so I just knocked this one straight out of the sky and got it tamed up. So later in the afternoon is when these 2 were united and set to mate. So, what this means is we now have hard-hitting vampire tanks, dusty glass cannons with burn, and medics to keep said glass cannons alive. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. I just hope this is enough for the final bosses. For the remainder of the day, I just went out to look for more milk, but ended up finding an incredible Elder Wyvern egg. I mean, just look at these stats. An added bonus is that it'll be female, so this is going to go great with Cabal. And on that note, at long last, on day 77 is when I took flight with Cabal. Its wingspan, enormous, its speed, impressive, and its natural armor ranks up based on the levels that I put into it. What a remarkable specimen. Attack that it includes are a wide-range stomp, a fire breath, which lasts continuously as long as the dragon has stamina, and a tail swipe to push back enemies. And of course, we cannot forget about its threatening roar. And also, as if on cue, I spotted an Alpha Rex, which I wanted to slay for some extra levels. And although I was burning it alive, it wasn't dying as fast as I would have liked. The fire breath is a bit complicated to aim, as it seems to be bugged by continuously breathing fire without stopping, sometimes, thereby losing stamina and food at a rapid pace. So using this behemoth comes at a cost. I just really hope that I get better at using it and it doesn't bug out on me with the stamina once it's time for the final fights. So first, once the sun had set, Cabal actually sealed the win, but these levels will surely come in handy. And that ain't just for him. I was happy to see on day 78 that I had gotten a good number of levels myself, and my goal is to reach level 100 in order to make the portal for the bosses and some final essences. With the rain pouring down, I refocused my efforts on finding some more milk. So once I had acquired said milk that I was looking for, I took the time to check the hatchlings that had accumulated over time. I found 2 specimens that would be a perfect breeding pair of rejuvenating dragons for the mix, and then proceeded to pop out the blood babies, much to the distress of the rest of my children.
Everybody calm down. There are children. No need to be jealous.
But hey, at least of the blood babies that were born, there was a female that had the stats that I wanted, so we'd integrate this into the breeding line. The next day, a better pair of sand dragons was also found and paired up. From then on, I just kept on the milk grind to the best of my capabilities, and I noticed that I had somehow gotten draconic steak and bones, but I have no idea how, but must have been from something that I killed. It was on day 80 that I hatched amongst our ever-growing family the new baby Elder Wyvern, which I gave all of my Elder Wyvern milk to raise. So while we wait for it to become an adult, I hunted down the last draconic dragon that I needed for my collection, which was the lightning variant. And it must be my lucky day, as once I got out and about, I almost immediately found one to tame. It kind of just prepared itself for me. So bada bing, bada boom, that's another one on the checklist. I brought it back home, and with that, my draconic collection is complete. I named them Gali, Kapaka, Liwa, and Tahu. Breeding-wise, we were inching closer to an equal blood pair, but this new sand dragon pair has equal stats, so their children will be our new burn squad. On the morning of day 81, I started doing a little bit of maintenance around the base. I popped out the fully matured second elder dragon and set them both to mate. The sooner we get equal stats, the better, because the baby should have 38 health and 36 melee, and that's what I want to use as my main ride. I gathered up a few more resources to repair my ascended crossbow right after, and after that was done, went to kill some random creatures to figure out what dropped the draconic stakes plus the bones. So while looking for something to kill on day 82, I ended up stumbling upon something brand new, a very bizarre creature, a headless hydra, which I guess makes it not a hydra. Either way, it needs ghostly draconic essence to tame, but I don't seem to be at a high enough level to make that essence, so I'll put a pin on that for now. I then continued to search for those stakes and ended up killing a crystal wyvern in the process, which gave me precisely that, plus some milk, a chaotic crystal, and a draconic primal crystal. Yet no bones! Slaying a fire wyvern also gave me steak and milk and draconic fire hide, plus its talon of course. And that's what I did all day, just simply going on a killing spree. So at the end of the grind, I had stacked up on more of this stuff, and plus an eternal ice, which is key. You get these from just killing any ice-type wyvern. As for the new babies that have been born, we now have a sand dragon with a health mutation, and also an equal blood pair at long last. Now here is where the grind really starts to ramp up, as for the entirety of day 83, I was just out and about collecting the drops that the wyverns have. This killing spree continued straight into the next day until about noon, with our loot pile ever growing. However, I had to return home as a perfect baby elder wyvern was ready to take flight. With this base now at my side, I was at peace because this is one massive powerhouse, so I named it Zen, and together we kept the kills rolling on in. On day 85, my wyvern killing just didn't stop, and besides the obvious drops that I gained from slaying these, I also gained a considerable amount of XP, which is also pretty easy to attain, as I only need to stomp and everything within a 1 kilometer radius just perishes fee-fi-fum style. At the dawn of day 86, I spotted another one of these skeletal ancient draconic ancestors with 100,000 health. I'm going to have to do some serious stomping if I want to slay that thing, so I returned home, got my healing potions, and then went back to fight it.
Alright, it's time to do a boss fight the right way. Potion, into the dragon you go. Are you mad? Will be. Lined it up for me. Let's just get this started. Okay, each tick of fire that hits is 150 and it's continuous, but I don't think the fire really like sticks. I don't think it even really knows what to do with me, and I've already almost gotten it to like half health. The wheels on the zombie go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on Skeletor go round and round, all into the grave. We're low on stam though, so let's land. How about that? I guess most what I gotta worry about, is fall damage. I just lost like a quarter health just from falling down a tree. That's how Flakes went. Whoa. Why did I just hear drums? Oh, now we're burning. Ooh. It has a carefree cooldown. I don't know what that is. I don't like it though. I can do this all day, pal. Go back 6 feet under where you belong, okay? It's like you're embarrassing yourself. Like, it doesn't even do anything. Okay, maybe I'm just lucky. He does seem to be doing like some bomb effect from time to time, but I wouldn't know. I didn't feel anything. Ghostly milk and ghostly dragon bone. Consume 25 bones to create a draconic urn. Can be used to feed baby skeletal dragons. Okay, so logic dictates I need this urn for the baby, which means I gotta kill 24 of these. What? It's like I don't have that kind of time.
Well, with that sack of bones done and dusted, I returned back home and hatched a bunch of eggs so that these can start maturing and gain levels passively. And so my dragon slaying rampage resumed on the next day, and one new thing that I did try was to kill an inferno wyvern, and it does drop chaotic milk, but sadly, these do not drop chaotic crystals, of which I need quite a few of, and they're only dropping from crystal wyverns, so obtaining these is proving to be quite the challenge. As I waited for more dragons to respawn on day 88, considering that I wiped the map clean, I decided to take the time to craft a skyward essence used to tame worms, and these little critters like to hang out near the big magic tree, so I was heading straight that way. And as for the other magic creatures that hang around that biome, apparently they have some type of healing buffs, or can teleport short distances, or even alter the terrain in creative ways is what I read. So now you know. Once I arrived, I noticed that the worm's taming process is similar to that of the cinema crops, but instead of chitin, it eats this essence. Sadly though, it needs a whole ton of these essences to tame, so I had to drag my butt all the way back home, whip up some more of these essences, and then go all the way back to tame it. These unscheduled flights had me back at the magic tree at the morning of day 89 when I tried to continue this tame.
Come on. Yeah, you got it. Come on.
Something is nibbling on Zen. Oh, it's a raptor. I don't think Zen really cares, to be honest.
Oh, no. No, the mana. No, 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 no. No, stop. Oh, I can't stomp. If I stomp, it's gonna attack the worm too. The worm lost all of its taming effectiveness. You son of a... Ouch! I'd like 2 more feeds to go on that.
Considering I dumped most of my essences into that one, it meant that I now had to find a low-level specimen in order to tame it. So I decided to go for this red level 25, but getting this one to like me was interesting. Let's just put it at that.
Come on. Come on. Oh. Okay. Still need 2. You're only level 25. That's right. Come on. And... I just drank water. Dang it! I didn't get the prompt because I'm in water.
No, no, no. No, 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 no.
Look, I'm good. I'm good. And it really doesn't want to get out of that corner. I can't just insist on you taking the essence now, can I? That's okay. That's okay. Come here, you lizard. Come on. I'm right here. And I know you're hungry. I can see it. This is just ridiculous. It's so hungry that it would just rather starve than actually come eat the essence that I made. What is wrong with you? Like, it's building up torpor. It's fainting from starvation. With perfectly good food right here. Oh, oh, hearts. Hearts. Just a bit closer. I can't move. Come on. Come on. You know what? Because you're so small, I'm going to name you Mouse. And there's a billion other names that I could give you by how frustrating that taming process was, but I'm a happy man. That's another one on the collection list.
I'm so glad that that's over, but either way, just like in cinema crops, the worm latches onto your back and lets you fly through the air a little bit. Cracking into day 90, I had to continue my dragon slaying grind. These talons need to be accumulated ASAP, and the map is so large that to you, it might seem like I'm just slaying dragons left and right, but in reality, these slaughter fests are actually pretty time intensive and require me to fly quite the distance. By sunrise of day 91, I checked up on what I still needed. Things are getting a little bit tight. I still have 8 levels to go until I hit level 100, so I better get to work. And yes, doing my dragon rounds has been very good for XP, but I just cleaned up the map, so I had to go get an explorer note and decided to slay some alphas for an extra boost of XP. Day 92 had me doing another lap around the map, honing in on some crystal wyvern kills. During my lap, I also got some ascended flak boots in a supply crate, so now my gear is looking pretty solid. After that, I returned home and was able to craft my first chaotic essence though, which I was very excited about. I had just enough chaotic crystals for it. And with no time to waste, I hopped on a sand dragon and made my way on over to the swamp, which is the Inferno Dragon's natural habitat. And here's where I spotted a max level specimen, which I attempted to knock out on Wyvern back. It ended up getting stuck in a couple of trees the next morning, much to its own anger. It tried to burn my freaking face off, but I wasn't complaining as my trank arrows were all connecting. So, like a good tame, it learned how to sit, eat its meal, and just like that, it was tamed. However, I wanted to check its abilities a little bit away from the swamp. This place is dangerous. So later, I mounted it and inspected its beauty. This Inferno Wyvern is the coolest looking one thus far in my opinion. It has a very cool fire breath, sure, but the cherry on top is a tail fireball catapult system, which I think is sick. Either way, this beast was named Saru and brought back home, and since I'm here, I decided to hatch just a few more eggs to grow our army. And so, with more dragons now on the map, I did one final lap of dragon slaying. This grinding was very necessary, but I think we got all that we need by the end of the day. And towards the end of it, I did also spot a polar dragon, which I still want to tame, and notice it doesn't have a lot of torpor, so it might be an easy tame if we can make its essence. We will see. At sunrise of day 94, I set out on a sand dragon to get some biotoxin plus fish meat. With those things in hand, I could craft both the aether spray yet again, plus the minced fish and fruits, and hauled these over to a low-level dwarf Dracara, one of the many Dracara variants. This low-level specimen had a bit of a forced landing thanks to Ebola, and once I removed it, was able to feed it the one food it needed to be fully tamed, and I decided to name it Matar as it caused me an insurmountable amount of stress, and it had me almost wanting to just slay it instead of taming it. As soon as I got back home, I directed my focus to the cauldron, where I stirred up some mythical, azure, and pure essences, and then flew out to tame some more dragons for my fleet. The first one in my sights was the Wyvern Corn, which was located in the swamp, and thankfully it is aggressive, so I could just lure it to a safer spot and knock it out in peace. Just look at this beautiful, gorgeous thing. It even has hearts all around it, and since it's such a unique looking unicorn dragon, the OGs will know why I just have to call it Fibbles Draco. Once Fibbles was put in a pod, I approached the snow biome to tame a polar dragon. The only one in the map at this point was a level 110 unit with a ferocious ice-cold breath. Thankfully, my sand dragon at this point can tank it, and allowed me to slowly but surely send its massive body crashing to the ground in a slumber. And due to this thing kind of looking like a construct, once I tamed it, I called him Brick. And thus together, I returned home a happy man, but there is still so much to do. On day 95, I zipped out the cave with Kenji to do a speed harvesting run of some stone, and these resources helped me build a stone behemoth gate, which, together with the 3 gates that comprise my front door, would be used to gate spam a hydro dragon. So I rushed across the map to find the lowest possible specimen there was, which is this level 5, as this one will have the least amount of torpor for me to apply, that being a total of 7,400. I must say that placing gates in the Redwoods Forest is much harder than it seems, and I thought that I had it, but once I shot at it, I immediately regretted my decisions and had to resort to the old-fashioned way of flying around and shooting in the air. And although it does have low torpor, it does apparently have a lot of armor, so the arrows don't seem to be doing much of anything. So I flew off and tried to lose the aggro, as its attack greatly seems to be affecting my health and stamina. As I landed to regain my own stamina, the dragon somehow got stuck chewing on some coral, and you all know that I am an incredible fan of cheese, so I just started blasting it in the head, and after a short blasting session, it plopped right down on top of me. And presto! Moist has been tamed. This thing is quite hefty, but first things first, I brought it home to unite it with the other recent additions. Matar here has a bite, a triple bite, and a grab. Fibbles Draco breathes fire and has the classic wing flap, and Brick has a cannonball, which is incredibly loud. And as for Moist, we don't really talk about Moist. On day 96, I wanted my last smidge of levels, which I decided that I would gain from crafting saddles, so I farmed a bunch of resources for the first bit of the day, and also killed a ton of Rhiniognathas for a quick boost in chitin. On my way back home, I did pop a quick explorer note, so that way once I had returned, my saddle crafting XP yields would be through the roof. I also then rushed to another Alpha Rex for another cheeky little boost in XP, which altogether got me exactly to level 100, and with that, got me to unlock the Draconic Portal. This thing needs a lot of stone to build apparently, which Kenji helped me acquire through the evening. So, on day 97, I began to put some levels into the army, which consisted of 32 sand dragons, 12 blood crystal wyverns, 4 rejuvenating dragons as healers, without saddles because I don't have enough of their poop crystals, plus Cabal and Zen, which then totals to 50 dragons, just like what you can take into the Alpha Overseer fight. And while I level these specimens, I would like to give a massive thanks to all the patrons and YouTube channel members who support the channel every month, which goes a long way, and it's never required but always very appreciated. So if you're watching and thinking, hey, I kinda like this weird purple bird dude on the internet, consider joining with the links down below. And again, thank you very much. To start off day 98 with my army at the ready, I prepped some more healing potions and set out to slay the first of 3 bosses, that being the Ember Claw. For this fight, I popped out roughly half of our squad to avoid risking all of them from the get-go and guided them straight into battle.
All right, a couple of my precious babies are left behind. They're a little bit reinforcements for later. Now, if all of you could get off of my booty cheeks, that would be greatly appreciated, because our target is right there. Ember Claw, Defender of the Realm. He's arrived today in lovely attire, even has some very cheeky purple on him, which I appreciate. Thank you for dressing for the occasion. And without further ado, let's get this party started. Okay. I would appreciate everybody pitching in. Yeah, you too, buddy. Let's just get this show on the road here. Let's check the Ember Claw. It has 122,000. And now we got a couple more bloods coming in. Okay. It's dealing significant damage, which has me quite worried. So we gotta pick up the pace here together with Zen. Oh, we're doing good damage, though, to it. Like, it's gonna be at a quarter soon. Here's the thing, though. I gotta get everybody to go down again, or else this is just gonna be an infinite sky battle. So I need everybody to, you know, circle back down. All right? Everybody, come on out. And one of the rejuvenating dragons is dead. That's a little bit worrisome. Ain't gonna lie. I'm not too happy about that. And of course a sandstorm has to come in right now. Of course it does. Where's everybody? Where are my dragons? They're just... God. Oh, there he is. All right, I'm gonna lure him to my pack. That seems a little bit better of a strat. Hi, Big Mama. I also see it's gonna drop an egg when it gets to 40% health. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, cool. Well, he's on me. Come down, will you? Easy does it. This is good that we're on the Elder to tank all this, you know? All right, everybody, beat his... Yes, he's on the ground. This is much better. Oh, okay, well, he was for a brief second, okay? We gotta count our wins. All right, everybody, back down again. Back down. Re-engage. Re-engage. All right, now I'm burning. I'm trying to use my fire as well. It's just scary to fight here because anything can basically drop me to the ground because my Wyvern might think it's on the ground. And then I just take massive fall damage. That's what has me worried the most, honestly, because we're doing okay. We almost have him at half health. And I do have these healing potions, which I probably should start using. Okay, that is another... Okay, that's 2 bloods down. We have him almost halfway. Oh, that's another blood down. Okay. Oh, the bloods are falling. So, if push comes to shove, I might have to face tank with Zen. Oh, all the bloods are dying. Oh, we're dealing good damage, though. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's a rejuvenating dragon. Heal me, my squire. Madik. We have him under half. We have him under half. I can't see anything. Did you land on me? That was disrespectful, man. I think it's up to Zen. Just stomp all the way on home. Oh, it dropped an egg. It dropped the egg. Oh, I'm so grabbing that. And pop another heal. This is tight. We're under half health ourselves, and he does a lot of damage. He really hurts. Under 30, pop another heal. I may have to disengage all of a sudden in a worst case scenario. The sandstorm is not helping with my visibility right now, but I think we got this. I'm out of healing potions, though, so if he pulls out some other new trick, then I might be screwed. Our health is not looking good. Oh, we're so close. All the corpses of our brethren are lying around me. My health is almost gone. 2 more hits. 2 more hits. 1 more hit. It's dead. Zen. Oh, I can't. Creature's hurt. Zen. No! You have to be kidding. It was so close to living. Sacrificed itself in the final stretch. I'm straight up heartbroken. I have so many mixed emotions. We slayed Emberclaw, got the egg, but we lost Zen in the process. Was it worth it? Was it even worth it?
After this grand battle that has my emotions all over the place like a roller coaster, I looted the Emberclaw egg and retrieved the saddles from our fallen brothers. And so, on day 99, I was able to hatch my very own Emberclaw, which also has purple on it, which has me very excited, and I decided to just name it Deathwing and set it to mature in the terminal. I then crafted the Draconic Portal, some more healing potions, and then reinforced my ranks to account for the members that we lost in our last fight. Once that was done and over with, I set out with Cabal in the rain to the place where the final fight would happen. This arena-looking spot on the gloomy island is going to be perfect, and after I arrived, I placed the portal in the center here and popped out the entirety of my 50-man fleet, which now includes a spare female Elder Wyvern as a replacement for Zen so that Cabal can be mate boosted. And with that, all my preparations are done, and it's time for my finals. Is this thing on?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, bud.
Y'all looking kind of funny.
Yeah, we're working on the ARK Survival Vault bingo video.
Well, look, I'm gonna need my exams prepped and graded, my broskies.
Right, Nat, you go, bud. I'll finish things up here.
Okay, cool. So Crow, my bro, have you been hitting the books? You studied enough for your finals?
Look, I don't know what to tell you. I winged my way through school, so I'm kind of hoping to do the same here.
Well, I guess we'll see if luck favors you again, my man. Well, you better brace yourself.
Oh no, here we go. I see fire everywhere. Oh, this isn't good. 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh. Go, my pretties! Thunder Plague Wyvern, 150. Go, everybody, go! It's got 1.5 million health. Everybody on it! I'm gonna just stop. That's the safest bet for me right now. Oh, man, I like how everybody's pitching in. Everybody just pitch on in. I can't even see the firestorm. Oh, that's so many damage. Oh, Cabal! Cabal, heal! Holy crap! The amount of damage that thing did. Holy moly! Okay, I don't know where it's gone, but I'm happy that it's gone. Another pure healing potion. All right, my children are on it. We haven't even tickled it. Oh, this is going much poorer than I thought. I didn't prepare enough.
Should have studied more, Crow.
Ah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, Professor Nat. All right, he's down there. I died. I died off of it. What? Oh, I gotta go. I gotta go. It's time to pull up with Deathwing. It's all or nothing. I gotta get back into the fight. Deathwing, I know you haven't had time to get levels, but oh, so help me. You better be my saving grace. Professor Nat, how are my children doing?
Could be better. They seem to be struggling a little bit. Should have tamed some of the stronger dragons in this mod. Oh, your children have him trapped. Oh, never mind, he broke free. He broke free by killing one of them and just flew on.
Ah, crap. I appreciate the effort, my babies. I see that the fight has escalated to a different area. I got my items back. My armor didn't help me for anything to stay alive, by the way. Like, not in the freaking slightest. To me, my children! Where'd he go? Where is he? He's back. Everybody on him! I sadly don't have Cabal's healing potions. And Deathwing is super weak. I see that the other Elder Wyvern is participating. Thank you for your participation. We've only tackled it. It's already day 100. How am I even supposed to get him to half? What is going on? All right, the final platoon of sand dragons has engaged. I repeat, the sand dragons have engaged. And you know what? I'm just going to keep my distance. I'm just going to keep my distance and let them do what they got to do. Yeah, I expected the blood dragons to leech a whole lot more of the health, and they had good melee. I was expecting it to whittle down a little bit faster. Should have hit the books harder by the looks of things. Okay, they got him kind of pinned. I can see some of the healing dragons using their healing breath. If that goes onto some of my sandies, onto the dust devils, they might heal, and I say that as one dies. I did my due diligent work with setting up this team, but apparently it wasn't enough. Wait. Oh, they have been ticking in a little bit more damage there, to be honest.
It seems you missed the DPS chapter in your textbook.
Oh no! I missed that chapter! Okay, here's the thing though. This might be clutch. I know they're dying. I know they are dying. But they have him pinned. I'm gonna try and get some damage in with Deathwing. That's a lot of damage numbers right there. There are skeleton dragons now?
I see you missed that chapter in your textbook too. Bringing him back up.
This was not in class. I repeat, this was not taught in class.
Oh, look at your little dragons running around on the floor.
I have not taught them well enough to actually fly. If the enemy is flying, by the looks of things. I still got a few going, to be honest, but they've all dispersed. I was gaining on the DPS. It melted quite a bit. My Dust Devils melted a little bit more towards the end as it got stuck.
I'm fairly certain I could count how many dragons you have left on one wing. Oh, he's got it stuck again, but this time in the portal of his own making.
Go, my Dust Devils and medics, go!
Never mind, he got out. He's learned from his mistake.
Well, rest of the class, I think the outcomes of the final exams are most indubitably decided. Holy moly. Here's the thing. I have many more dragon babies that I could take with me, but I have limited myself to using 50 as per the same max amount you can take with into the Overseer.
You could have used a calculator in class. You choosing not to use one is on you.
Fair enough, Professor Nat. Fair enough.
Well, Teach, I just got thrown through a blender and was spat straight back out. Humiliated is putting things lightly, but considering my grade is based on the species that I got and then the bosses, what's my final score?
Well, let's tally it up, shall we? On the map with your mods, there are a total of 29 obtainable species. Considering vanilla ice wyverns and glowvale dragons don't spawn, and of all present, you've failed to tame 2 dragonkin species, 3 types of Drakara, the Bloodstorm and Ancient Dragon, plus the Headless Hydra, so the Teacher's Council declares that out of 29 points, you missed out on 8, so you get a C-, but beating the Emberclaw does bump you up to a C+. However, on the flip side, you didn't manage to best any of the 2 Portal Dragon bosses, so take this big fat D+. But you pass, but your parents are likely still disappointed in you.
Well, that's nothing new. And as I always said, y'all need only 60% to pass. Anything above is extra. So with all that being said, thank you so very much for watching, and I will be seeing you very soon. So take care now. Bye-bye.